What's good, y'all? Yogi here. Today we have an amazing video. So, as you just saw, it is the Ritual Festival going on right now. And I originally, well, first of all, let me start by saying I don't use Ritual monsters. I don't even have a deck built around them. So, I decided to just go ahead and pick the structure deck with Hungry Burger in it because I own this card and Hamburger Recipe. It was one of the few cards I could pull off back in the day. I still have the cards to this date, so this is like childhood memories, and the fact that it got an archetype to support it and work with it, I love the idea of it. But anyway, I only had about 3 matches. I still have to figure out how the cards work and all the tech around it to really be able to successfully beat people. But it's also the last day of the event. It's the holiday. I don't really have time to grind out everything, and while at the same time trying to learn a new deck. It's just not the best use of time when you're low on it. So I decided to go through most of my decks here, see what I could work with, something that doesn't have an extra deck. For example, my Umi deck, but Kairyu is banned in this event altogether. So I'm looking for something else that doesn't rely on the extra deck, and for some reason I end up on my Zombie World / Shiranui deck. A lot of cards got hit, or I just haven't used this deck in a long time, right? That's why Yugioh's still here. Grass is at 1 now instead of 2. And of course, I don't have access to synchros. This is mainly a synchro deck with a decent amount of link monsters. That's what I saw it. One specific link monster is still allowed, and that's a Vendread Savior. And that's when it hit me. It hit me that Vendreads are a type of ritual monster. And I was always kind of interested in them, but I never got around to it because it's ritual monsters. I know how slow they can be. It's not, it's very costly on resources unless it's a really new top tier deck. Like Nuvalis, they are able to bounce into each other really easily, and any recipe card, it's not too crazy. But Vendreads aren't half bad either with how they work and operate. So essentially what I did was I removed most of my Shiranui cards, all of the extra deck, and then added my 2 Vendread Saviors that I already had, and anything else that could be possibly summoned, if at all. Then I basically threw in 1 of everything, so 1 Vendread Core, Anima, Hound Horde, Revenants, and the Scar, the Vendread, which I think is one of the newer ones. Throw 1 of each ritual monster. I threw in the field spell, which I'm thinking about putting into 2 because it's so much better than it looks at first glance. At least in this deck. I threw in 4 ritual spells. I got 2 copies of Vendread Origin, 1 Evolution. I just threw in Ravenous Vendread. I do not have this in any of the replays. I just not threw this in. I basically forgot to put it in the deck. I thought it was in there. I was trying to add up a bunch of cards that remove them, but you can only add a maximum of 65 cards before you're forced to remove something. And if you are noticing, I still have some Shiranui cards. I have 2 Spirit Masters, 1 Samurai, 2 Solitaire. And the reason they're still in here is because of Shiranui style Swallow Slash, which is basically Icarus attack for zombies, tribute 1, destroy 2, but then afterwards, I have to banish 1 Shiranui monster from my deck. So if I remove this trap card entirely, I can afford to remove all the Shiranui cards, but it's an Icarus attack. I like the card. I wanted to see if I can make it work. So Spirit Master is simply because when it's removed from play, I can destroy 1 face up card, so it's extra removal. So it might shoot 1 monster, I can destroy 3. Samurai is here because of his effect. He's always been really good to catch people off guard with. He does come in handy as well later in the video. And then 2 Solitaires because I can still tribute it and bring out 1 zombie tuner with 0 defense, and it's an extra way to get to my unit zombie. Mind you, this is just a test run of the deck, and it's still very clunky. I think 60 cards is too much in this instance, but hey, I ran with it, and here's how the duels went. But hey, I ran with it, and here's how the duels went. I do end up going up against a top tier deck. I want to say top tier deck. I've seen some videos about it. It seems pretty crazy and busted to deal with, not fun to go up against. You could see how that went though. Alright, this is the first duel. I keep getting shocked when people don't have extra deck, but this is a Ritual Festival, you don't even need them. So immediately I'm like, okay, this is cool. We got a rookie warrior lady, never seen this UR before. I'm wondering what kind of deck it is. Trust me, no one watching this video will be able to guess what deck it is. Trust me. So I go ahead and start doing some stuff with Yugioh Zombie. I discard my Algol Mazura because he's free protection from being bopped. I decide to send Mizuki from hand. Its effect is if it's sent to the graveyard, I can banish one monster from the graveyard and special summon one zombie from my hand. I special summon a Spirit Master. It's pretty useless in the hand. I actually open with both, which is pretty bad. I don't need them in my hand. It's supposed to be for the trap card in a 60 card deck. Yeah, I see how bad it is. But I pull out Mazura. I was able to special summon him as well. Link into Vendread. Well, his name is now Vendread Slayer on the field. I go in and attack, activate this effect to discard something, lower its attack. So I set Banshee. I can set up Zombie World, hit for Yugioh Zombie, and that's it for this field. Nothing too crazy. Vendread can save itself for the most part. Then I have this to also, you know, protect. He must have bricked though with what he had. So I go for Yugioh Zombie, chain in. Decide to also chain with Banshee in response. So I can put Zombie World, the Glow Up Bloom, to bring out Doom King, and that's just going to be enough for game. Nothing crazy, simple Zombie World stuff. I just drew into one ritual card. But don't worry, we will be getting off some ritual summons with this deck. Alright, second match with this deck. This is when, you know, for a second match, I'm like, this is a horrible hand. We got Anima. And this guy's playing Bingo Machine with Blue Eyes. Picked 2 Chaos Cores and Blue Eyes. Going for Dictator D. He's just going through the motions here. I'm just waiting for him to get stuff on his board. So I decided to go for Vendread style Swallow to destroy both of his monsters he played. I removed Spirit Master. Now, in general, if it's not Spirit Master or I get it early on and there's nothing else to pop, I would use the card with the girl on it. I cannot remember the name right now, but I would use her so I could discard a card and draw one. So I would have discarded Doom King because there's no reason for him to be in my hand. And off this small chance I can just activate Field Spell, I can bring him out easily. So he plays Alternate, I Solemn Judgment it, hoping he has nothing else he can do. He doesn't. I'm like, alright, can I bring this back? And I draw a Ritual Monster. And this is why, for the most part, I don't do Ritual decks. And he activates Chaos Form, I already know it's coming. You play the Lance Blue Eyes player, you already know who they're gonna be playing. Max Dragon, 4,000 damage exactly, that's it. So at this point, being my second duel, I'm like, is this deck gonna work? I know I bricked, but I'm doubtful at this point. Alright, on to the next one. This one took a very long time to load. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, very decent hand here. This guy plays Hand Destruction. So, send 2 cards, draw 2 cards. I took my time trying to decide what to go through, but I decided to send Glow Up Bloom and Jackal Bolin, because I want these 2 in my hand if I can help it. I activate the effect of Glow Up Bloom to remove it, and the guy quit. The reason he quit, he was using a Morphing Jar deck, and he probably looked after I activated at the fact that I have 60 cards. So there's no way he was decking me out before him when I have 20 extra cards in him. Hope y'all are still here after that last heart-stopping intense game. So I got an okay hand. This Pyramid of Wonder is a very punk means of protection. Use Solitaire to bring out Unizombie. Just doing the zombie world stuff, right? And you know, that's why I left him in initially, so I could get to Unizombie easier. Discarded Mizuki from the deck, sent Shang-Chi from the hand. Mizuki to bring back Shang-Chi. I can dump something else. I end up deciding on Mazura for protection. And then set this trap, Vendread Revolution. It's not that good, to be honest, but something. So probably another Blue Eyes starter deck. Or a rental deck. They end up playing the Dragon Shrine after adding stuff to their hand and then quit. Connection failed. I don't know why. Maybe they misclicked. Maybe they didn't mean to send Blue Eyes. I don't know. Alright, enough of the super quick matches. On to a match that goes a lot longer. So we got Glow Up Bloom, Mizuki, Shiranui Samurai, got a Vendread Battle Lord. Vendread, my bad. I'm gonna keep saying Re in front of it because that's the main card. Then we got a field spell. I didn't go over it earlier, but it basically says you can discard one card, add one Vendread monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Then when your Vendread monster destroys opponent's monster by battle, you can banish one Vendread from your graveyard. And it can attack monster again. Not even attack directly again. So this secondary effect is kind of meh. Right? Very situational if it's helpful. So go ahead and use Vendread Knights. Now the best thing about this is the fact that I could just discard, get rid of something from my hand. So I can combo off of that. So I add Scar the Vendread to my hand. I got rid of Glow Up Bloom, so now I can add Brawling to my hand. Normal Mizuki, and my turn. So this dude starts off immediately paying 4k to bring out a Dark Magician. Soul Servant, putting a card on top. And then Swords of Revealing Light. I'm like, oh man, this is real old school feels. He goes ahead, draws. Did he draw 2 cards? Not just 1. So he equipped them with Magic Formula, just Dark Magician or Dark Magician Gorilla card. It gains 700 attack. This card is sent from the field to the graveyard, gain 1000 life points. So he buffed him up, went for the attack of my Mizuki. Did not read or know what Brawling does. I can special her from the hand, pay life points, and then life points I pay gets added on to the attack target. They're zombie. So I destroyed his monster, but we got this to deal with. In the meantime, I can keep farming with my Vendread Knights. So I decide to send Scar to add Slayer to my hand. Scar's other effect activates, which is if it's sent to the graveyard, add 1 spell or trap. So now we're going to grab the Ritual monster, the Ritual spell. Now I normal summon Vendread Core because the effect of Vendread monsters in general is when a Vendread monster is ritual summoned, using this card on the field, it gains the following effect. And this effect is your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Think of it like how XYZ monsters attach and they, you know, give them bonus effects in some cases. So I set the core from the field, Scar from the graveyard, because you can also banish and bring out Battle Lord. Then I link my other 2 away into Savior. Then I use Mizuki to bring back my Fraulein, just for extra protection. And we have an even better board now. This dude draws into Regeki. However, well, I don't have Mazura in the graveyard, but I do have Vendread Origin. And that card's effect says that if a Vendread Slayer you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you banish this instead. And since a Vendread Savior gets changed into, well, Slayer, I was able to save that card at least. And then Battle Lord let me add Chimera to my hand. It's not really a crazy looking hand, but I can send a card to add another one. A normal Solitaire. for Unizombie. Now I have Mazera in the graveyard, so I can, you know, have extra protection. Now, I've been using Vendread Savior for a very long time, and I forgot it has two effects. You can target one Vendread card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Absolutely crazy with the field spell. So now I can essentially add back a card from the grave and send a card and add one from my deck as well. So I can just basically keep recycling. Put it in a graveyard, add a card to hand, add it back, card advantage. This person also did not read after playing Chocolate Magician Girl that I can send a card to weaken it. So I sent my Doom King, destroy his monster. Next time he is going to lose his Swords of Revealing Light. Even though I do not have Zombie World on the field, you just need a field spell, you can bring back Doom King. I set my trap. Once again, discard to add a card to my hand. Add it right back. Now the issue with all this recycling is I do not have a way to get the spell into my hand. Oh, well actually I do. I banished it. But if it was in the graveyard, I could keep adding back the spell, Ritual Summon, and recycle with it. All you need is basically one spell in the hand or grave, a Vendread Savior, the field spell, and you can just keep recycling stuff and get your ritual summons going. I don't think I go for any extra mess here. I just decide to go for a game. He plays Magician's Combination. It doesn't do anything. He just activated it. And this game went longer because of swords, but I was able to mess around a little more and figure out the power of the field spell under the right, you know, setup. Alright, got this deck, this hand going, nothing crazy. Dude just passes, I don't know why. Maybe he just bricked that hard. I play Gozuki, send Mazera to the grave for extra protection. I use this quick spell card. It says send one zombie monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, special summon one Vendread from your deck. So by doing that, I bring out Scar the Vendread, strongest one I could have pulled out, and I also got rid of my Glow Up Bloom in the process. Now that I did that, I can remove it from play, add a card to my hand. I decided to go for Vendread Savior, Slayer. Now, using the effect of Origin, you can ritual summon any Vendread monster in your hand or graveyard, and you can tribute monsters from your hand or field, and or banish zombie monsters from your graveyard whose levels equal it. We already used the other effect of, you know, you will be destroyed, it protects you. So I use my Mazera to bring out my Vendread Slayer. And then Mazera's effect also activates that when it's banished, I can bring it back. I decide to link into Savior. And then I use Kazuki's other effect that says I can banish a card in the grave to special summon a monster from the hand. And this is actually going to be enough for a game. So 2-turn KO, and I got off a ritual summon. Pretty cool combo. Alright, so for this next duel, we got Samurai, Doom King, Algol, one ritual spell, and Vendread Knights in the opening hand. Vendread Knights is such a good card to actually open with. The fact that I have one copy and opened into it twice is crazy. So immediately I send Doom King to the grave because that's where we want him. We don't want him in the hand. And I add in my Vendread Executor. I use my spell to tribute off Algol and bring out my Executor, renamed Slayer. So now we have the protection of Algol in the grave, and Doom King is out and on the field immediately thanks to there being a field spell. Person opens with Dark Hole, but since I have Mazera in the grave, I can remove him from play, bring him back. Now they got Emancipator stuff going on. the go-to cards for a ritual deck. I play Megalith Unformed. You ritual summon. The main thing I remember about this deck is that they can use themselves to act as the ritual spell. So, bring out Ophiel, use the effect that when it's summoned, add one to the hand. Use the incantation spell to bring out Haggith. And another Megalith Unformed and activate it. Now, the two effects for this real quick. It says all monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack for each ritual monster on the field until the end of the turn. So this is a really good card in this ritual only festival because it says field, not even, just your side. And you can ritual summon one Megalith monster from your deck and defense by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal exactly twice its level. So that means if you tribute a level 8 monster, then you can bring out a level 4 monster, which is what happened earlier. Yeah, earlier when I tribute the Kandal and Auk. So he's going to tribute off 1 to bring out full, which is level 2. It says if it's ritual summoned, target a card, add it back to your hand. And bring out the incantation Talismandra. Adds another monster. Another ritual spell going off so they can play Ophiel. They add another Haggith. So they're just comboing with ritual monsters right now. This is actually a great deck to use if you want to pull off a lot of ritual summons in general for the missions. So then he tributes Lord of Red Eye's card. This is level 8. To bring out Haggith. Has another spell. Now added the field spell. Megalith Portal. Portal's not too crazy, I think. First time a ritual summon monster will be destroyed by battle, it isn't. The Megalith monster special summon, you can target one ritual monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So just keep the flow going even more. So it brings out Haggith. Add a spell to the hand along with another card altogether. So it's going to add Lord of Red back to the hand. So you can fodder it off. Another Megalith Unformed. It's going to use that Lord of the Red. Bring out Ophiel again. Just going through all of them. And I was like, I should have known this was coming. Megalith Phaleg. It's a normal, but this might just be the boss monster of the deck. And the reason you will see as soon as it comes out. So it's using this effect to tribute 2 of its monsters to bring out Phaleg, and look at their attack points skyrocket. Because its effect says, monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense for each ritual monster in your graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every monster is gaining 2,400 attack and defense. So, I decided to go for my Vendread Slayer. It lives because of their own field spell. So, kind of a double-edged sword in this format. So, lives the first time, I take 1900. Second time, I decide to activate the effect of the spell in the grave to save him, and third attack lets him get destroyed. The secondary effect of Executor is if it's destroyed, add one Vendread card from the deck to the hand. I added another ritual card because I can ritual it again very easily, especially since all my other monsters are level 8. I decided to discard this trap. This trap is not really good in this setup. I banish it using Samurai. Now I could have just instantly played this, got rid of Mazura in the grave, brought him back, but I decided against it to do this play. So why did I banish it? This lies in the effect. Not the 600 attack boost that it's getting, but anything that it battles will be removed from play afterwards. I chain my Doom King in response to it, because I could either negate this effect or banish one monster from the field. So I banished this Phaleg. Now the Phaleg's gone. All the attack boost is gone along with it, and this is the reason why I did this in the first place of activating his effect. So I had something to chain to remove the phallic as soon as possible. And I'm going to use Origin, but it has a response. And the response is just that, well, it's a quick effect ritual summon. So it gets rid of 2 of its monsters to bring out Bethor. Now, if this card activated immediately after it hit the field, I would be in trouble, but we have to let the chain play out. So, I get rid of Mazara and bring out Battle Lord. Now it says, if this card's ritual summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls. Up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in your graveyard. So that is enough to target every single last card I have. I don't have a response to it. So he adds back a card to his hand. Bethor goes off, but Mazra's in the graveyard, so I'm able to banish him to bring him back. I banish him, bring him back, save all my monsters in the process, essentially. And yeah, it just worked out perfectly that I attributed him and used him when I did. So I attacked with Samurai here first, so that the bonus effect can activate and remove it from play. This saves it from damage, well, dying once, of course. Attack twice. I remove these 2 cards to go into Slayer, just so I have Mazara back in the grave. Go to add a card to my hand, and he ends his turn. That's it for that match. I don't know if he would have been able to even draw like a card, Heart of the Cards, top deck to save him there. Alright, I'm going first here. My hand is kind of mediocre, but we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to start off with Vendread Charge to send a card to the grave. I will send the Ritual Monster. That's the really cool part about all of these Vendreads, that you can target and use them from the grave, so there's no problem with sending them there. To bring out Scar. And then I tribute summon Scar to play Shang-Chi. Scar's effect activates. I add in Knights because I already have a card in my hand, the, field spell. Ritual spell, my bad. So I use Shang-Chi to send Mazara, using the ritual spell now, to play my Battle Lord. And with Battle Lord, also can bring back Mazara easily. I link them both off. Although I would have liked to keep my Shang-Chi on the field, but I feel like this move was better. I always want Mazara in the grave if I can help it. Then I use Savior to add back charge. I set it. Activate Knights, just because Knights does nothing on a defensive standpoint. And yeah, we're good to go. So we got another Blue Eyes deck. This is Blue Eyes along with White Stone. Brings him back. Dictator D effect. Another Blue Eyes, special itself. Special, a second Blue Eyes. So, as per usual, this person is not helping their argument that Blue Eyes players cannot read. So, he goes for my Savior. He uses effect to send a card. I send my Doom King. I lower his attack points. He can't do anything. Now he goes for Battle Lord. But Mazara is in the graveyard. So I can banish Mazara and bring him back. And save my Battle Lord at the same time. Use White Stone to bring out an Abyss Dragon. Abyss Dragon off of this effect is kind of busted. So he goes ahead and adds Advanced Ritual Art to his hand. And then also he has that other effect that lets him add any card. He adds Blue Eyes Jet. Now I was starting to feel the pressure here. I have to remind you though, I haven't played against Blue Eyes Jet as much. I just know it's a busted card. So since I have a field spell, I'm able to bring out Doom King. I use Vendread's skill to add a card to my hand, and I combo it with Doom King, so I can remove from play a card. I just remove his regular Blue Eyes. The less the better. Normal Gozuki. I send my Executor so I can combo into this very easily. Now I wonder here, why did I remove my Doom King that still had effect to negate instead of Mazara? This is an effect that I just activated. I didn't even know what it did, or that it was a thing, but it says that if a monster in the field is tributed while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish one other zombie monster and special summon this card. And if you do, you cannot special summon monsters, except Vendread monsters. So I might have locked myself into something here without realizing it. Oh, that's why I left it. I left Mazura because Mazura was able to switch to attack mode while Doom King was played this turn in defense, so I couldn't switch it. So I'm thinking, hey, this should be enough for game, even though I don't have the defense in the graveyard. We'll see. So Dictator D activates his effect. This is why you control Blue Eyes monster. You can choose the attack targets for your opponents. I tried to go for Abyss Dragon. I was going to dump something, go for it, but he redirected it. To decide to dump, I go for Banshee so that I have Zombie World online. Then he activates Jet. And again, I didn't know what Jet did, but it says if a card is destroyed, you can special summon this card from a graveyard. If it was there when it was destroyed, or hand, even if not. I don't even know why it says even if not. But anyway, I skimmed it, I saw from the graveyard, I missed the hand because of the parentheses and everything. I thought it started at the if, and it did not. It is what it is. So I didn't read in response. I use Algol to attack Abyss Dragon. They use the Return of the Dragon to protect it. Now I was kind of annoyed here. I could have actually just used Banshee in the graveyard, activated Zombie World immediately, and this would have nullified this card because it says if a dragon monster is targeted. If it said Blue Eyes, it's different. So yeah, I went ahead and did that, even though it was kind of too late. Destroyed it with my Battle Lord, and then I decided to go for the Crash here. Although the Crash here would have ended up with me living because of Origin here. And his name is, Vendread Slayer. So I attacked it, and then Jet's other effect activates. That says, start a damage step. If this card battles, target one card your opponent controls will turn to the hand. So I'm like, yikes, that sucks. That's not what I needed. But go ahead and use charge since we're still in the battle phase to pull out a core. I go into another savior because I realized I do not need core out in the field in defense mode. He's a Blue Eyes player, right? He attacks me in defense mode, I'm done for. This 7,500 damage I'm taking unnecessarily with Chaos Max Dragon. So you Scar the Vendread's effect since he went to the grave to add the trap. Nothing really good coming from me adding this trap. I was running 2 copies of it. I definitely put it down to 1 just to see if it has some other use. He uses the stone. I decide to respond with negating the effect so he can't bring back his alternate dragon. Out comes the Chaos Max. He sends another white stone. He goes into battle phase. I'm activating Revolution here. Why? Just so... I was desperately trying to get some zombie card to trigger to save Doom King or have him negate something. I don't know. But I sent that. Added Origin to my hand. I special summoned Scar. At this point, I was panicking. And me panicking playing this trap sealed my fate. Because I thought I picked 2 cards and added them back to my hands. You read the whole thing, it says discard 1 card, then target 1 Vendread monster and ritual spell in the graveyard. Okay, I got that far. Special summon that monster in defense position, and if you do, add the ritual spell to your hand. If you banish this card from your graveyard, you can target 5 of your banished zombie monsters, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. That's why this card is mainly here. The shuffle effect to bring them back. I'm like, I will probably need something like that. The issue comes in that I just special summoned a monster with 0 defense in defense position against a Chaos Max. So I'm thinking it's game here, this is it. And for some reason, he stopped his attack with Max. I don't know if I broke it or he just misclicked or what, but he didn't finish the attack. Or maybe he thought I was baiting him over Doom King. I don't know, he didn't finish the attack. So he goes for the attack with Jet. Adds it back to my hand. He could have attacked anything else with Jet and then targeted it afterwards. I don't know. He plays Dragon of White. You can, target spell, banish it. So he banished my zombie roll, which sucks. If I didn't still have Gozuki in the field to send Banshee and put it right back. I was like, I'm going to make sure I activate this sooner than later now, so I have a way to play around this. I also use Battle Lord effect. It says banish one Vendread card from your graveyard and declare one type. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of that type. So I banished my charge to negate monster effects, so he shouldn't be able to activate anything in response, aka Jet Dragon. I tribute summoned him back. I use Gozuki effect so I get chain with Balderrock. I'm able to banish Cast Max. Now for anyone who doesn't play Zombie Worlds, they're probably like, how did you do that? Because this card is pretty much invincible. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. Well, not only did I banish it instead of destroying it, but it just says banish one monster. It doesn't say target or pick a monster. So because of the text there, boom, Chaos Max is gone. I play Samurai, switch Scar to attack, and he quits. Because that was pretty much game. I have to do the math again. And if it wasn't game, he was going to be hanging on by a thread. The thing with Vendreads is they're a very cool concept. I think their downfall falls in that fact that all of the spells say you can remove from the field, hand, and graveyard, but all the monsters need to be on the field for you to get the bonus effect. And I think that's what makes them pretty slow at the end of the day. So we are not going first here. I have an okay-ish hand. So let's see what we're going up against. Oh, we got one set and pass. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Have to see what we're going up against here. So I go for the move I hate doing the most with Zombie World Shiranui deck. Shiranui in general. Playing Solitaire, tributing it, and trying to special summon something. Because they almost always follow up with Ash Blossom. Which means I lose my normal summon, I can't special summon off of it, I have nothing on the field. So the one card in my hand that I thought was trash, I never like to really see, at least early on, is Zombie Reborn. So target one monster in your graveyard, banish one of the same type from the deck, so I banish one, and I bring it back. Now I have some form of protection along with Swallow. And I'm just hoping that this guy is not a Blue Eyes player, because I'll be in trouble if he goes right into it and attacks. But then he plays Mech Lord Army of Granel. He has 100 attack for each Mech Lord monster on the field, except this card. When this card is normal summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, half their attack. And then he flips over another one. So I decide to tribute and destroy both of them, because why not? I was very confused at this point. Why is somebody playing Mech Lord's anti-synchro deck in a Ritual Festival? So I cleaned his board, he ended turn. His name is Old Dog 64. So I'm feeling kind of bad at this point. So I just normal Samurai, go for the attack. There's nothing else I could really do there. I could have just set Hound and pass, but that's damage I'm missing out on. Now he plays Mech Lord Nucleus Infinity Core. I know nothing about the Mech Lords except they're anti-synchro, really, right? Because most people don't play them. So if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add a spell to the hand. Another mediocre looking spell at first glance, Mech Lord Assembly. You add a card to the deck to the hand, discard one, target a monster you control and destroy it. So he destroys his own monster. I'm like, that's a lot of card advantage you're losing. However, he's triggering this effect. If it's destroyed by a card effect, you can summon one Mech Lord Emperor from your deck, or hand with a different attribute from the monsters you control, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also for the rest of the turn, you can only declare an attack with one monster. Bad drawback. They have a lot of weird, bad drawbacks against themselves. So he brings out Granel from the hand, and then he specials Weisel? Yeah, Weisel. With the effect of the core he destroyed. This card's attack is based off of how half of his life points, essentially. So if you start off with this card, it's going to have 4,000 life points. So he goes for the attack with his Weisel. Now I use Samurai's effect, which is a beautiful combo with Spirit Master. So I remove it from play, so I get the extra attack. And with the effect of... Oops, my apologies. I got a little confused myself. So I removed Solitaire, and I was able to bring back Spirit Master. So he still went through the attack against Samurai. He beats me by 100 points, but the bonus effect makes his monster removed from play, and he decides to now attack my Spirit Master. At least I thought it was deciding, until I reread the core. It says you can only attack with one monster. Very bad drawbacks. They should update and errata all these mech lords because they're not as busted. You know, like, there's so many worse cards and decks and archetypes. Foreshadowing. So I decided to go for Chang-Chi here. So I can dump something, try to get some engine going. Use this trap card, Mech Lord Astro, the Eradicator. So you can target 3 Mech Lords with different names, add them to his hand, or special summon them. This is until the end phase. After this card's activated, you cannot special summon monsters except machine monsters. So he is going to use his... Oh, this is another Weisel. Okay. Synchro Absorption version of Weisel. So he special summoned it by sending a card to the grave. I'm just going to keep going on with what I was doing. Or so I thought. I sent Gozuki to banish a monster, bring out something from my hand. I was going to go for Doom King. But he used this other effect that says if this card is special summon, you can target one monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack for the rest of the turn. Okay, that's fine. I wasn't going to be able to beat over anyway. Out comes Balderrock. Spirit Master just got removed, so I went to destroy this, but he uses Weisel to negate the effect. He really wants that spell still there. Activate Zombie Reborn's secondary effect, which says take something removed from play, put it back in the deck, and you can set this card. You cannot use both effects in one turn, however, so this is just going to be insurance for next time. I was about to say he top decked. No, he added it back with the trap that he just added to his hand again. So he's once again doing the same combo. He plays the core. He's going to use Granel to special summon it back. But I don't know if he messed up by playing it in attack mode because last time he had more attack points. He wasn't scared of losing the Doom King. But now since I attacked him, he only has 3,400 attack. His stuff is lower, you know? So he attacks me with Skill, and that's all he could do because, well, he couldn't beat over my Doom King, but even if this was stronger, he still is nerfed by the own effect of his cards. Because it says, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. So that's very, you know, yikes. So I'm going to use Zombie Reborn on Chang-Chi. Since the setup is there, he's going to add more cards back to his hand. Well, I thought he was going to add it to his hand, but he decided to put them all in the field for the sake of more bodies. Because, yeah, this zombie deck, I can combo him, I could beat him up pretty bad. It brings out 3 monsters, I bring out Chang-Chi. Now the effect that's triggering right now is Chang-Chi's other effect that says if this card is banished, which it was from Zombie Reborn from the deck, you banish one zombie monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. So I'm able to bring out 2, in theory. Yeah, this is just him adding a spell to the hand, and this one is targeting a monster that can't attack. So my Doom King cannot attack him now. Adds Mech Lord Deflection. Now I can't attack, but I can still use the effect. So I decided to use Balderrock's Banish effect to banish that Weisel. I send Banshee, I set up Zombie World just so I have extra way to defend myself. And then I realized that I didn't have to do any extra combos after I summoned my second Chang-Chi because he played this in attack mode. And the main effect I remember reading about this is first time it would be destroyed by battle, it's not. So by him putting this card in attack mode, he screwed himself. He put it in defense mode, yeah, I would have had to attack it twice just to remove it. I would have loved to see if he could have beat me with Mech Lords because I'm all about rooting for decks like that you never really see. Now for the main course. The reason why I'm like, I have to make a video on this deck because it's so thrown together. I know it could be optimized and better, but this by far is probably one of the most craziest duels I've had in Master Duel. So, opening hand, Unizombie, Banshee, Doom King, Vendread Slayer, and Zombie Necronize. Dude opens up with 1-for-1. I'm like, oh boy, what deck is this gonna be? And then I see Rescue Ace. So let me just say from the start, I've probably played against this deck. This is my second or third time going up against this deck. I want to say it's my third time. So I am not too familiar with how they work or how to play around them. So I might have roasted that player earlier for not reading. He's a Blue Eyes player, but I had to read with this one. So all I know about these cards is they can easily special summon more copies of themselves. He's going through the motions. Rescue Monitor. Using the effect of this to normal summon another time. Adds Reinforced to his hand. And he links them off into Cross Sheet. Just so he can use Ace Turbulence effect that says Banish to play it, bring it out. This effect is beyond ridiculous to me. Because it can now just set 4 Rescue Ace quick play spells / normal traps with different names directly from the deck. There's another card. And then the field spell also lets him recycle 4 cards to draw 1 card. So essentially, if I'm able to beat through all of his back row, somehow, as long as he lives until next turn, he can use this, put it all back in his deck, and then once again set 4 different cards with Turbulence. Insanity. This is one time you can use a really old trap card called Straight Flush, by the way. If your opponent has 5 cards face down, you can destroy them all. I would love to pull out that card someday, but I mean, let's be honest, most people are not going to set 5 back row. So I'm like, yikes, this dude has an entire row of back row. I need to just try to see what I can do. So, first thing, Zombie World, see if they're going to react. They don't. Then I play Zombie Necronize. If a level 5 or higher zombie monsters on the field, which they are all now, since he didn't block it, target one monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. And the secondary effect is just like Zombie Reborn. So I'm like, alright, cool. He's going to start with his responses, all the stuff he has. So he decides to add back another copy of Turbulence because he knows he's probably not going to get it back, but he's ready for next round. And I'm like, hey, he doesn't have any monsters in the graveyard, so he won't be able to bring this back out. So I play Unizombie, it goes through, I'm like, alright, cool, I got my protection up. Use the other effect to send my Doom King to the grave. So I got my whole setup, Zombie World, Protection, Doom King. Go for the Hydrant, he decides to play Extinguish. If you control a Rescue Ace monster, target one effect monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Then, if you control Hydrant, your opponent cannot activate the effects of that monster, that destroyed monster, or of monsters with the same original name this turn. So basically blocking out all Unizombie effects. But I just sent Algol, so I'm going to do that to save my monster, bring it back. He's basically rendered it completely unusable since it says it needs to be destroyed for the effects to be cancelled out as well. So, since that didn't work, he goes for a secondary trap, Reinforce. So now he's going to gain 1,500 attack. and defense. So, it wasn't really good for me. In response to that as well, he uses rescue. So it says target one rescue ace in your graveyard, or if you control the hydrant, one monster in your opponent's graveyard, and special summon it. So I'm like, oh no. Now, like, I grabbed his boss monster, he grabbed mine. And I know what Doom King can do, so I have to redirect and destroy it. Leaving him with that is too much. So I link off into my savior and in turn, because that monster is going back to him anyway, and of course, we always want Algol in the graveyard. Or the hand, he can activate from the hand actually. So we bring back Doom King. And he opens with Harpy Duster. Like, this sucks. That's what I needed. I'm just looking for something I can do to activate a zombie move so I can banish it. But I'm like, hey, hold on. I didn't destroy any of his monsters. Or I was very careful about that so he couldn't bring it back. I didn't read like I should have to rescue ace cards, not monsters. And I thought monsters because it's so easy to bring them out. So it's really busted. So he pulls out Contain on me. Target one effect monster. This effect monster cannot attack. Its effects are negated, and if Hydrant is on the field, cannot be used for fusion, synchro, XCs, or link summons. It's completely useless. So he's able to start going through his motions like he wants to do, and I can't do anything since I'm negated. So Hydrant adds something to his hand. He uses his field spell to add back all those cards, draw one, set all four right back again. I'm like, this deck is ridiculous, man. Like, I don't like this, I don't like Pearly, I don't like, not spell books, but the ones with the spellcaster girls where they keep adding the spell cards back and stuff like that. Maybe I'll remember before this video's over. So he has a full set of cards. Monster cards, all with really high attack. So I save my first monster, bring out Algol, we go and destroy Doom King. He goes for my Slayer, and I'm like, I gotta dump something. And I go for Glow Up Bloom. Use Glow Up Bloom's effect to add a one off-type card, Vampire Frawley. I use Frawley's effect, special summon it, pay 1800, and I'm able to save my Unizombie and destroy his monster in the process. Then he just specials a random Infernal Knight. It just says if you control a Fire Warrior monster, you can special summon it. Okay. Extra defense for him. Doom King is going to come back because he still has a field spell. He instantly starts with Contain, however, so once again, I cannot activate my effects, and I'm also not able to link or anything away. The link especially hurts because I can easily link him away and maybe set up something else to bring him right back. And then the effect's live, but I can't. So, time to use Unizombie and dump. He decides to respond with Monitor to let him special summon another monster, and then he uses Extinguish on my Unizombie. And unlike last time, I'm not going to be able to circumvent this. So Doom King is gone, my Unizombie is destroyed and negated in the process. Well, actually, he technically isn't negated, it just destroys it and stops you from activating stuff, right? So, I sent my Banshee to the grave so I can set up Zombie World. I'm going to use Bolan's effect that says discard a zombie, special summon it. Zombie Necronizes other effect. I shuffle back a Bloom so I can set it again for later. And I put Mazra in attack just so I can, you know, try to get rid of something. His Ace Turbulence is the main monster. Because I also paid attention, close attention to this effect that says if a card leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, except during damage step, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So I'm very careful about how I am tackling this. Like if I remove anything else, he can just pop anything. And Mauser is in my hand, so on the field, so I can't protect myself. So go for the attack. He uses Reinforce. He gains an extra 1,500. I use Frolic in response. I pay 2,200 just so we crash. I decided to crash Mazura just so I have him in the grave again. And on my end phase, I use Banshee. And I chained with Balderrock. But he's negated. Why did I chain? Just in case. That was my attempt at chain blocking. I think that was successful. Like, I don't think he had any response per se, but I think me doing this counts as a chain block. Because they're both quick effects. So, they're all zombies again. He starts off by shuffling back 4. Then I use my Jacobola's effect that I don't usually get to pull off often. During your opponent's main phase, target 1 zombie, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves. And then I banish Bolin in response. Then I use Balderrock in response to Bolin, so I can instantly banish. So I banish his boss monster, while at the same time grabbing his other one from the grave and putting it on my field. So unless he's running 3, he doesn't have access to it. So he decides to activate his Fire Engine to special summon 1/4 or lower. I use Balderrock to try and negate it. Then he uses Rescue. So he is going to take my Mazura, which sucks because I'm like, okay, if he has anything that can pop anything, I'm, you know, super vulnerable here. He goes to battle phase, he goes to attack into Fraulein. Now, here's where I need to point something out to y'all. It's a lot of text for all this stuff, and like I said, this is my 3rd time going up against this deck. I was running out of time. Hardcore. I'm talking about multiple times during this duel, I went to under 10 seconds. I remember seeing 7 seconds at one point. So, at this point, I am very low on time, and I'm trying to make plays quickly while not, you know, falling into any of his monster effects, his traps. So, spend 1,000 to save it. I let Doom King go. I let Fraulein go. I only have his monster left. He goes into another cross sheet just so he can open up his, you know, space, bring out Airlifter. He brought back Alert. Now Bolin is back on the field, and I draw Origin. So, bring my Balderrock. He instantly uses Extinguish to destroy it. However, he just destroyed something with a card effect. So since he did that, I'm able to use his Turbulence effect against him. I target my own Algol. So I want it back in the grave. He does Airlifter in response. He brings out Fire Engine. So he has 2 Fire Engines on the field. I use Origin. Because let's not forget, I had a Slayer that I sent to the grave pretty early on. And I could have put this in attack mode, but something I gotta point out again. So not only am I like fighting against the time, I have 600 attack points. If I put this in attack mode, he can beat over that. I can use this effect that says you banish one zombie monster's card gains 300 attack and live. Okay, but I'm just, you know, trying to set up anything, grasping for time. So I link them both off for Savior. The other effect of Slayer activates. So I can add to my hand another ritual spell. So I could ritual summon him again if I wanted to, but I don't have time for that. So go to battle, I immediately dump Balderrock. Just so I can get rid of it. I'm just trying to deal any damage, get his life points lowered. Bring back Doom King. So once again, shuffle back 4 things. And he shuffled back his Turbulence. So he decides to go for Hydrant. I go to negate it. He responds with Impulse. So what he was doing here with Hydrant was going to add 1 to the hand. I knew he was going to grab Turbulence. But by him having Impulse, it says when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can tribute this card from your hand or face out, so summon 1 from the deck. So this was his response to still bring out Turbulence from me trying to block it. However, The way Doom King works is I just activated his effect. I didn't select yet. So in response, I picked to banish instead of negate and still remove his monster that he decided to add. So he ends up adding another impulse to his hand. I use Bolin to bring back Fraulein. I don't have enough life points to really be paying for Fraulein, but I still decided to bring her back over picking something that he has, because, again, I'm very low on time. Use Mazura just so I get more body on the field. Let her go. He sets 2. He normals another monster. He ends turn. Now this one I have some time again. I'm like, okay, we can make something work. I bring out my second Doom King. You can only activate each effect once, however. So I use Origin to bring out my Executor. In theory, I could have just got rid of Baldarok this one because he's just summoned this turn. I can't put him in attack mode. However, I need the protection monster back there. So I activate Savior to add a card to hand, and I use this in response. I banish one of his fire engines. I add back Origin, so I can ritual summon again. Now I go to battle phase here and make a very specific play. Because I was fully expecting one of the cards he has to be reinforced, which is a 1500 attack boost. If I attacked into this, even if I tried to crash, you can activate this. I don't have enough life points. I'm done for. So I decided to go with Slayer against Impulse, knowing that I have Origin in the graveyard to save him. And he goes for the reinforce. So if he adds this on 500, I'll have exactly 100 life points. He decides to pick the fire engine instead. Why? Because maybe he thinks I have something else up my sleeve. Or he just wants a very strong body on the field. I don't know. Either way, I think that was the right choice because I'm not attacking over anything else. Oh wait, I know why. Since he got rid of this, if he got rid of the trap on his impulse, right? I can crash this. Boom, it's gone. His Hydra is left, and I can attack that now, and I can finish him. Well, not finish him, deal serious damage, because I still have 2 monsters in defense. Because Hydra is one of those cards that it cannot be targeted with attack as long as he has another monster. So he goes for instant attack against Slayer, which says final blow. I discard my Mazura, strongest card I got, and it is enough to live with 200 life points. Now it's his end phase. Now I use his effect to add back a Slayer so I can respawn. I don't know why I said it like that. Respawn by banishing. Go right to battle phase, attacking with Slayer. And Executor. I was thinking about using his own monster against him. But I had to let him execute the final blow. This is by far the most intense match I've ever had Master Duel, because I was 7 seconds, y'all. Twice. And I was trying so hard not to panic, and it ends with me having a full board against this guy. So yeah, very happy with how this deck worked out at the end of the day. Made slight tweaks to it, like adding this other ritual monster. Removed one of these. I might remove Foolish, because I almost never draw it, and add a second field spell. Something like that. But anyway, y'all, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think of the deck, thought of the video. It's worked out so much better than I thought. I might end up making a permanent version of this later on, just because it's pretty fun messing around with this deck, the ritual summon mechanic. And if I get any more crazy duels trying to get to 11,000 points, maybe you'll see a part 2. Maybe you'll see a part 2. Alright, y'all, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We really appreciate it. Peace. But first, I need to show y'all what this person was cooking. Because I thought, you know, this could be an Earth Warrior themed deck. I'm interested to see what it is. I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no idea what this person was going for or cooking. I will just go through the deck real quick. So for any of you who watched me go through all that, what the frick is this deck? You got Snake Rain for reptiles. There's not a single reptile in the deck. You got stuff for light machine monsters, and they might have one, if anything. Miracle Contact for fusion summoning something with Neos. Don't even have Neos in the deck. Rank up cards. There's no extra deck Xyz monsters. Even in the case of Waking the Dragon, you could have put and crafted a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to put in here, because he's allowed in this festival, and be able to special summon him. But they just chose not to. Numeron Network, Bingo Machine, yeah. Just craziness, this deck. Unexpected die for a normal monster, but there's no normal monster at all. All their monsters' levels are like, from here on down, everything is level 5 or higher. So he had like 6 cards that get normal. Just insanity.